Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a fun one for you today. We've got a little contact form on the left rolling up here, and it's going to stay sticky when it gets to the top. Then when it gets to the bottom of the section here, the dark section, it's going to roll back up out of sight. We had a little request for this. We've done similar things in the past, but not exactly this. And that's a great little feature to have on your site. It's going to stay there. People can fill it out, send it off when they're ready. And when they scroll past, it's going to disappear up like that. Really easy to do. No coding involved in this today. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's go down and I will delete this and start from scratch. I've got a section here. Inside I've got several rows. This particular contact form's in a row at the top here. I'm going to delete this. What we actually want is for this form to appear up here on the left hand side and stay there for this whole dark section, and then start disappearing out of sight when the next section comes into place down the bottom there. Really easy to do. To explain that a little bit more, I'm going to switch to backend mode or wireframe mode. To do that, hit your little purple button. On the left hand side, you'll see a little icon, which is wireframe view. Takes us to the back end. Just easy to see the sections here. Now I've got a full width header at the top. Then there's our dark section here, which has got several rows in it. And then we got more sections underneath. What we're going to do is for this longer section here, is we're going to add another row at the top. Doesn't matter where we add it. I'm going to put it on the top there. So I'm going to add a new row. I'm going to use a single column. And inside, funnily enough, I'm going to use a contact form. And we can switch back to desktop mode now. I just wanted to demonstrate the actual section on the wireframe mode there. And if we roll down, there's our little contact form right there. Obviously, configure the form how you want, add more fields if you want to. In the text, I'm going to give it a bit of a title at the top. Reach out. It's actually there, it's dark on dark, we can change that. Success message is the message you want to pop up when the form's sent. If you want it to say something other than submit, you can put it in down there. The important one here is the email address right here. This is where the email address you want this delivered to, so put your email address in there, obviously. Don't want any redirect. I'll leave the default spam protection on. I will give it a bit of a background so it stands out. Just going to use a blue. And as this is going to be scrolling, I'm going to take the opacity down a bit so it'll give a hint of the site behind it. I'm going to give it a little bit of space all around and change that title to a lighter color so we can see it. To do that, I'm going to pop over to Design, Spacing, and I'm going to give it 20 pixels padding all around. Just put in 20, it'll put in the pics. Hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. We'll do the same for left and right. Now for our little title right there, you can roll over it, hit the paintbrush, it'll take you straight to it. I'm going to make it white in color. That's all I'm going to do. Now while we're in here, I want to make this form a lot smaller so we can have it in one corner of our site. Also on tablet and mobile, it should work out fine that way too. So let's do that. Still in design, I'm going to close up the title text. I'm going to go back down to sizing. I'm going to go down to max width. Make mine 315 pixels, 350px for pixels. By default, it puts in a percent, so just put the px on the bottom of that. Great. I'm also going to position this with absolute positioning. To do that, I'm going to go over to advanced. I'm going to go down to position. I'm going to change it from default to absolute. I want it kind of in the middle. I think that's going to work for me. Now you may have noticed it's popped behind these other things here. Let's sort out our row now. I'm going to save the changes here. Now we can roll over. Here's our actual row. I'm going to hit the cog to go in there. I'm going to make the row full width so that that's fully on the left hand side. You could have done it with fixed positioning, but I think this will work better. So in the row, I'm going to go over to design and sizing. Width wise, I'm going to roll that up to 100%. Going to copy it, Control C, paste it in the max width below, Control V, or you can just type in 100%. Now we've got it totally on the left hand side there. I also want to just drag this row right up to the top of my section here. So let's save that. We'll go back into the row itself. Little cross right there. I'm going to drag it right up to the top. That's great. Let's go back into our row now and create this sticky scroll effect. So back into the row again. Going to go over to Advanced. I'm going to go down to Scroll Effects. Where it says Sticky Position, I'm going to change it from Do Not Stick to Stick to Top. And I might adjust the height of that in a moment. I'm going to roll down a little bit. Bottom sticky limit there. I want it to unstick itself at the end of the section. So if I roll up now, it's going to stick to the top there and unstick when it gets to that dark section. But as you may have noticed, it's actually a little bit too high up there. So let's save our row and we'll go back into the actual module itself. Over to Advanced. And in position there, just under location, we've got horizontal offset. You can position it by putting it the little squares here. I think that top right might have actually worked for us fine. As you can see, it's on that side now if we do that. I had it in the middle. You've got a choice. You can offset it this way. But I don't really want to offset it any that way. So I'm going to set that to 0. But I will pop it up that top one and put it at the top of the row, which is right there. Now, that works a lot better. Now, if you have a trouble or if you have any problems that anything below it is going over the top of it, see if I put it in the middle, see if there's a problem like that. As you can see, if I put it in the middle, I'll move this out of the way, some of those elements are going over the top of it. To stop that happening, we can change the Z index. But I'm not going to change it on the actual module here. I'm going to change it on the row. To do that, let's save that. We'll go back into the row itself. Advance, down to position on the row. Here's the Z index on the row. I think the default may be 9, so I'm going to set this to about 20. And as you can see, it's popped on top of everything else there. And it's staying on top. That's great. But of course, we're not going to have it in the middle like that. Fantastic. So if we go back now and position this back on the top left, it should be in the right position. Little cog, get back into the module. Again, back over to position. Let's pop it back over there. Great. Now when we roll up, it'll be on top of everything else. It'll stick to the top there while we're rolling down the rest of this section. People can fill it out, obviously, and hit the button. When it gets to the end of the dark section there, the top of it's going to roll up and disappear as we roll down the rest of the site there. Great. Well, let's make sure this is going to work on the front end. So I'm going to save my page changes down here. Make sure you've got your little purple button expanded. Hit the Save Changes. And let's exit the Visual Builder. Now we can roll on down. There's our little form coming into view down there. When I get up the top, it's sticking where it is. We can roll down, read everything else in that section. It's staying there. People can fill it out, send it off. When we get to the bottom of that section, it's going to disappear back up at the top there. That's a nice little feature to have on your site. So there you go, guys. There's how to create a sticky position contact form with a scroll effect. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them or make a little demo video for you. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.